We get to go twice, right? I want to say it's unfortunate that we have to gather as a community to deal with school board issues primarily along the lines of ideological indoctrination and fighting back against these issues that would be pushed by specific progressives, when I think our time should be spent talking about how our how our children are doing in school, how our schools are doing in competition or in comparison with their peers, both in the state and in the country. Our scores in our schools are terrible. And I'm interested to know how our potential school board members will address that. So aside from all the sociological and ideological issues that we're all frustrated with, I'd like to know how we are going to improve our academics. How we're going to improve our science, math, history, English, etc. How are we going to get higher scores and see to it that all of our kids get the best education? Because hopefully we can get to a point where this political divide is less of an issue in our kids' schools and academics is the forefront of our kids' education. So I'd like to hear from you guys on that too. Thanks.
To kind of back that up too, thinking about budgets in our beautiful schools. We have some of the most beautiful buildings. I mean, that's what everybody sees as they're driving down the road, and they're incredible. And millions of dollars have been put into this. So I think about the money part of it. If we're not educating the children to bring into scores and learning that we know for everybody, it's probably across the nation. So comparing other states and other schools is probably none of them are very good, except the ones that were smaller private schools, maybe where they were able to have better, more intimate learning. But it sounds like the money is, I didn't realize that last night listening to what kind of budgets we have. It's incredible, the amount of money that we have to be governing over, and we as citizens and parents busy with our lives and whatever, we have entrusted these people to take care of this. And you think, how could I even begin to understand this process? But I'm a little concerned about where the money is being spent. And I think we could open a whole can of worms if we did require some audits of the funding that went in with COVID. And I just think it's not necessarily going to get better. I just think we could be opening a whole can of worms, but I think we need to look at this, and I don't even know how to begin to do that because I am not a numbers person. But I'm just, at gut level, it just doesn't add up. We had all this online learning and millions of dollars were given. So I just want to predict that we need to pursue that, and I would hope you candidates, if you get to be in that position, that we would be backing audits or what we have to do. And it's not going to be pleasant. This is one of those things where you have to peel back or, take the curtain away and unveil some information regarding that. And there was another thing I was trying to think about that you were saying, and I can't remember what I was going to say. But I'm all about transparency and opening up and be willing to, when you have a them and us situation, you think, how can we come to the table together? And I guess the first thing I would like to ask the present board, if you got to have an actual dialogue, is I would really like to know what you think your function is. We know what they should, but I'd like to know what is their mindset in thinking, what are we to be doing? Managing all this money in these beautiful schools or not, and if you don't really understand what CRT is, or some things that you really need to have, if you're not in the nitty gritty of meeting with teachers, et cetera, and getting to know and hear from the public, then transparency is just poor. And so I know I would be behind you, whoever is going to be there, to be willing and insisting to let's look at the money, and any of you people that are money people, to come alongside to form some committees to pushing forward to getting some answers, because I think we need them.
Hey, my name's Corey Christofferson, and I just have a little bit of a different experience. I have a son with a pretty severe disability, and regarding the masks, he can't wear like a fabric one. He drools all the time, so it just gets wet immediately. He has all kinds of sensory issues, so he can't wear another one. And really, it doesn't matter because the school district doesn't care, because the state, some people hundreds of miles away over a mountain range told him they had to do this, and so they do it. So my son has someone force a mask on him when he goes in, when he's sitting at his desk. I can't get into the school to take it off of him. He's not in a position to advocate for himself. So these are the people that are running our schools. It's disgusting. I'm sorry. That's what I have to say. As far as inclusion, they also don't care about inclusion. My son, when he left the school the other day and I picked him up, his special ed teacher was behind him because she didn't want other people to touch him, going like this. Oh. And she's trained that way. It's not her fault. She's trained that way because he's a liability to the district. This has been his whole life in school, and except for in elementary school. It was actually good then. But since then, he's been a liability to them. They have to protect so he doesn't get hurt. They put a helmet on him. They convinced his mom that he was in danger when I wasn't there. Put a helmet on him. It took us all year to get that off. So this is what they care about with inclusion. It's not the teacher's fault. It's the districts. It's the administrators on the other side of the state that make these rules. And then they all think they have to follow them because if they don't, they're going to lose their paychecks. So I don't support any politicians. I don't vote. I don't believe in government. But I support Pam because she put her foot down and said, no, I'm not going to stand for this. I don't care what it means. I don't care if people vilify me. This is what I stand for. And she put her foot down. And nobody else will do that. So if any other politician or anybody running for office will do that, I will back them as well. But until then, nobody. I may vote, actually. I will not promise it.
While I'm sitting here, I get a Facebook private message that we lost another one. He committed suicide. District 81, and his mom works in the system. So he had every opportunity to draw from the system. He had every opportunity to get the help he needed. But he decided not to.
I'm so sorry that has happened to any family. So we have 3 candidates that would like to speak. We have some who have had questions directly addressed to them. I want to make sure that everyone here that would like to share something has done that before we open the floor to the candidates. Would you like to share?
Yeah.
Okay, come on up.
My name is Dr. Dale Robbins. I don't have a child in the school district, but I had a special needs kid. And unfortunately,
We have an audience that is remote. Would you mind coming to the... Okay.
so my name is Dr. Dale Robbins, and I don't have a child in the school district. He's grown. But when he was in school, he went to public school, to a Catholic school, to a religious school, home tutoring, and a private academy. A little bit about me. I'm an MD. I'm an attorney. I'm an MBA. I have a master's degree in education. I'm also friends with Brett. So I want to get that out there that, yeah, I have a little bit biased. What I want to say to all of you as parents is there's a book called How to Raise a Healthy Child in Spite of Your Doctor. So every time I get someone who comes in, it's like, I want you to go to Barnes & Noble or your local bookstore and read the first chapter. Don't buy the book, just read the first chapter. Dr. Mendelsohn was Harvard educated, undergrad, and medical school, practiced for 50 years. And his whole point in the book is Well, how many clothes should my child have on now that it's colder? Well, how many clothes do you have on? His whole point is, hey, he went to Harvard, practiced medicine for 50 years, and his whole point is this: nobody knows the child better than the parent. And so everybody here that's a parent deserves a round of applause. It's just that simple. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. I'm not a parent, as you can probably tell. Not yet. We'll get there someday. I'm Parker. I'm a sophomore at Ridgeline. And just speaking for the students, and a kind of thing I would like to mention to the school board, is I think in my entire school experience, I've had probably about 2 teachers who were really willing to talk to the kids about how they felt about school. Like, how do we feel about our start times? How do we feel about our lunch times? How are we feeling about our homework? And like, obviously, I think it's great that parents get involved, but I also think at some fundamental level, students are an important part of this, and they shouldn't be left out of decision making. And
Okay, everyone that's here besides Brett and Pam feels like you've had a chance? Okay, so Pam, Brett, go ahead and come on up. And you are Brett, right?
I'm Brett, yes.
Okay, I want to make sure that I wasn't skipping over you. I have made a list of some questions. I'm happy to have you guys speak first, and then if we miss some questions that folks had, then we'll go with that. And you can pick your order, work it out between you.